Hey there, welcome to the archives. So, I am going to record an old episode that doesn't have video or audio so that I can just get that out of the way. Um, I'm going to be taking a break in March, so I'm just trying to get some recordings done that I can post while I'm gone. So, no new content yet. Or maybe, I don't know, I'm playing it by ear. But for right now, okay, so this one is called Do We Want to Tidy Up This Mess or Can We Afford to Deep Clean It? I did this back in 2021, I believe it was. And as somebody who was the primary house girl in my household growing up, and so that basically means I was tasked with doing more of the domestic chores, the domestic labor. Um, because that's what a lot of us African girls are groomed to be, right? You have to know how to cook and clean, so you can raise your family one day, so you can be a good wife to your husband one day. And so that's primarily what I was doing as a child, and from a very young age. Um, I learned that tidying is not synonymous with cleaning, two different things. And in my adult life, I've heard others talk about the same thing. Tidying up was something I did intermittently during the week, sometimes unconsciously, intuitively. It was never pre planned, usually. Um, that was reserved for cleaning, right? So, tidying up would be if you're in a workstation, you clean up when you're done. If you make a meal, you tidy up the kitchen when you're done. Um, that sort of thing. Tidying meant, washing the dishes, wiping the counters, picking up after your clothes, putting books away, putting toys away, getting your belongings together, making your bed daily, and tidying was, for the most part, it was a collective effort. Like that was like a family initiative, right? You eat something, you don't just leave it there for somebody else to clean up. You go put it in the sink. Dorothy will probably wash it for you later. Um, it was just a collective thing, tidying up when we were growing up. That was very different, however, than cleaning, right? That was a whole different ball game. When it was cleaning was like, that is Saturday or Sunday mornings. I don't know if you've seen some of the TikTok memes. There were a while ago where the music is playing. Once the music starts playing, you know you're about to be put to work. Um, that is where you're doing the laundry. It's pre-planned, right? Usually you know that you're doing it on the weekends or maybe you have a set day for it. For me, it was usually on Saturdays, sometimes on Sundays, but mostly Sundays was for church. It requires more time, more effort. It means that you're doing, the whole house or the whole floor, not just specific rooms, but almost all of it. You're doing the bathroom, you're doing the kitchen, you're doing the hallways, you're doing the bedrooms. If you have a basement, you're going into the basement. Like cleaning is deep cleaning. It's different from tidying. It tends to be more gendered, right? Women are typically the ones who clean um, for a lot of different reasons. That's not always the case, right? There are people who have households where both their parents cleaned if it was a man or a wife. The kids all were. I had cousins growing up who the boys cleaned as well too. When they had like a calendar and everybody had their day that their weekend where they had to clean. It was not necessarily gendered in that way. In other households, it is very gendered, right? The girls are the ones that are doing the cleaning. The boys are doing other things. They're playing sports. Um, they're outside playing. They are doing what kids usually do. Um, and so I've been thinking a lot about this idea, or at least when I wrote this blog, I was thinking about this idea of cleaning and tidying. Um, right, tidying, you're dusting here, you're wiping there, but the blueprint and the foundation are left as is, right? Like when you're tidying, no furniture is typically moved around. You don't really take the curtains down to wash them. You may dust the blinds, but you're not taking them all apart. If you're cleaning the windows, you're not really going outside to clean the windows. You may vacuum, but the carpets are not removed. You're not rolling things up to clean it in that sense. Um, you're not taking it out to beat and shake the rugs, right? You're not giving the cupboards a wipe down. Um, Spring cleaning is like a whole thing, for instance. And so I keep thinking, especially with the COVID-19 pandemic, that there's different levels to cleaning, but similarly, the same thing when it comes to like disinfecting, sanitizing. Do you remember when we were washing like fruits and you came in and you washed your hands right away? Like there was this whole ritual around cleaning, cleanliness, sanitation, and it's not necessarily like that so much anymore. But I've been thinking, or at least when I did this blog, I was thinking about what this meant for a lot of different social movements, right? Or even individually for myself in my own life. What am I willing to tidy? What needs to be tidied, like regular maintenance, and where do I need to go in and give like a deep cleanse, just a really move things around, shake things around, declutter, to clean things out. What does that look like? Um, where in my life do I need to sleep a spring cleaning? Um, where can I do things collectively with others and ask for help? And what is my mess to really be accountable and take care of and clean on my own? And so, um, and I'm thinking also of like deep cleans were really chaotic, right? They were energizing. But they were also exhausting. They were refreshing, but they were really tedious. Like you knew to intentionally fit in some joy while you were doing it. You would put the music on, you would dance. Like you just knew that it was a tedious task that you had to make a little bit better. Where in my life right now do I know that this is painstaking, but at the same time I can find some joys in order to get the task done in a way that's not so annoying. Um, right? Where it's not so gruesome. In the disability communities, they talk about like having spoons, right? Like, where do I have spoons some days where I might not have spoons? What can I allocate to do now? What can I do later when I have more energy? Um, right? Where do I need breaks, naps? As an overachiever, like some of these things where I would just jump into the task and then be really burnt out. Um, so I'm thinking about that, especially in terms of tidying with Mary Kondo. Um, I saw something recently that she's saying that, now that she's had kids, her home is not as clean, and people were like judging and critiquing, but that's also very real, right? Where did I have space and opportunity to clean in some moments, and where do I not necessarily have that? Where am I okay with things being a mess, right? What sparks joy? What doesn't spark joy? Uh, where can we declutter our mental space, our emotional space, physically? Can we, what we call band-aid solutions, could we place them on certain things knowing that like we can't address this right now? This has to be a band-aid solution for this moment because I cannot clean right now. I can only manage this at a very basic and simple level to tidy it up. I will return, in 6 months' time, in a year's time, maybe on the weekend, I can focus on doing that. And so, what is the dirty work that we're avoiding? How long is it going to take us to do that? What cleaning tools are required? Do we care like how it smells? Right? Do we dress it up to look really good? Like I put makeup on and got dressed today because I have um, a virtual appointment, but at the same time, it was like also a very much needed, necessary break from like being struggling to shower, right? Do we just put all these things on to make it feel better? Do we need that also? at the same time, I did a blog last week on Facebook on how, at least in like the Black communities I was raised in, like getting dressed, showing up, being overdressed, like these things that were really important in our community, as self love and also as self care. And so there is also part of that. But being honest, where do we sometimes just make it, tidy up to make it look like everything is good, but it might not necessarily be going so well in that day? Um, where do we need to like bleach things out, right? Especially on our own healing journeys. Are there any metaphorical furniture that we need to move? Maybe do we need to give things away to other people? Do we need to take back things from other people, like our power? Like Marie Kondo says, what's sparking joy? Um, what's taking up space? Can we afford different reinforcements? Could we, is there a budget to remodel? Can we ask others to help us with certain things? Um, yeah, what are the rituals we need that basically will help us to get into a frame of mind, a mentality, a lifestyle that just feels more easeful, not as cluttered, and that's also not to shame clutter either, right? I don't have any answers or solutions really, um, but I do see that there's a lot of ginormous messes everywhere, from COVID, the environment, relationship issues, all of these gender diaspora wars. There's a lot of mess everywhere, internal, external, and so I've just been thinking about what that looks like to tidy it up, to clean it up. Like, can we afford to really do a deep clean on some of these issues, or do we just need to just keep it tidy and focus on when we have more resources, more capacity, um, to avoid to engage in the messy. And again, I want to just end off saying that here you could check out Mia Mingus's work. I talked about Mia Mingus in the previous blog, but I didn't link the actual article. It's called "Moving Toward Ugly," or there's another article by Alok Menon and Mia Mingus on why ugliness is vital to in the age of social media. So I invite you to check those out because they really reframe what it means to be ugly, what it means to be messy, and how to invite more um, ugliness and messiness into our lives. So if this resonates, please pass it along, share it with others. If it doesn't, that's okay as well too. You can consider making a donation to my PayPal at the archives. And thanks for stopping by. Okay, until next time, in solidarity.